My name is Kamila Korbela and I am the owner and principal conservator of LA Art Labs. So we're a Los Angeles-based conservation studio that focuses on art conservation, sculptures and paintings. And we have done a very comprehensive assessment of the collection, the civic collection of art in the city of Ojai. How we got to do that was through Lisa Shapiro and her company Cura Art. So Lisa is an OG Ojai girl who grew up here with her family, and she has a really wonderful family that I also feel very connected to. And so she brought me on with the team at LA Art Labs to first assess the whole art collection that the city has, which is incredible in depth and diversity. And so once we assessed every single piece, and we basically came out here together to look at every single one, assess the condition, see what else could be improved, what kind of treatments are necessary, what would be a wish list in terms of better care and protect these artworks that are scattered around the city and make the city so much more special and beautiful. And so now we embarked onto one first phase in terms of treatment, and it's basically the care of the sound arc. It's special because it was particularly conceived for this park. Yeah, what I think is wonderful also to begin with is that it's interactive and that it actually works with the people that are visiting the park or that are going to enjoy a concert at the bowl. And so you know, art generally speaking is wonderful, but when it's interactive and the public can be involved accordingly, it makes everything much more special, this little bit of magic. The piece itself, it has a couple of issues that can be very well remedied through maintenance. And we'll have to also, based on our initial cleaning, inspect all the surfaces on a closer level in order to then see what else we have to actually do, and basically build a 2 to 5 year plan for the artwork in order to anticipate if any other repairs are needed. So we have different composite materials that the arc is composed of, and we have concrete that has its own kind of degradation phenomena, which just through wear, because it's an outdoor sculpture, everything is being weathered, and there are a couple of cracks and chips that will be stabilized after the initial cleaning and then also compensated for loss so that it is more wholesome and doesn't draw the eye to where any defects currently are. And then the metal will be considered after the cleaning with also very thorough inspection. Any areas of corrosion, which is very normal at this stage for an outdoor sculpture, will also be treated. The corrosion byproducts will be removed and then the area passivated, so no new corrosion will occur, and then isolated in terms of protecting the surface that had been aggregated before just by weathering. And then there are bird droppings, spider nests, and other debris that also just crack down the material. So we remove everything in order to also then add to the long-term preservation of the piece. We have a couple of people on the team today, and there is Ruth. Ruth actually has a PhD in contemporary art conservation. She is our senior conservator and is obviously incredibly smart and talented. Then we have Malaika. She just graduated a while back, and she has been on the team for a couple of months already and has been already jumping into all different projects. She's interested in a career in conservation. Lisa is a newer member of the team, and I really wanted her to come because it's like such a special experience. Also working with public art is very different than the projects that she has been exposed to before, and she will also enter the path, the academic path of becoming a conservator. So Clarice, who just like bundled up because it's hot in the sun. She's an artist, and so she's in a supportive role, and she has been with us now for a longer time actually, and is very sympathetic towards like materials because she has a very involved practice. Eric, who's currently taking a break, he's just like helping also in the capacity of an assistant and facilitator. So he will take over very particular parts of the cleaning, which will also include some very light, gentle pressure washing. Like it sounds like more pressure than actually will be executed. We have a very eclectic client portfolio, and that's really wonderful because that means that also the projects that we're entrusted with are very varied in scope and also what the desired outcome is. So we do a lot of public projects also in Los Angeles. We have museums under contract, so we do regular maintenance, but then also special projects. And we are currently very involved with particularly the Broad Museum, where I oversee the physical well-being of each painting that is in their collection, but then also we are focusing a lot on preparing the inaugural exhibition for George Lucas Museum, which is supposed to open next year, and we're currently having over 20 projects in the pipeline, and we have, I think, completed around 200 thus far for the museum opening. But then we also have a lot of private clients that have museum grade collections, or private clients that just really care about their art. And then the other main component of the business, unfortunately, has developed emergency response. So in the aftermath of the California fires, we're heavily involved with helping our clients resurrect their collections from the fire areas. Like everybody here also is involved in academia or like outreach in one degree or another, or like in the capacity of like together we're now working on a paper for the American Institute of Conservation about, for instance, our disaster recovery efforts. But then also I teach, for instance, conservation in various capacities, and I go once a year to Asia to teach conservation there, and that is enabled by the Fund for Cultural Development sponsored by the US. So that's really wonderful. Anybody who engages in conservation on like the active level really loves it and believes in how important it is to preserve our collective memory and make society better through our endeavors. There is something about caring for public artworks that is so important, because it's actually art that is really needed, where we can all not just benefit from it, but also a point of conversation, if like a gathering point. It has so many different functions that are so important, and so our endeavors in terms of spending our time to help preserve that is of such utmost importance, and it makes our work so much more meaningful in the end. And we're just grateful to be part of this. Also, Ojai, the city, taking their stewardship so important with preserving the collection that they have, which is so beautiful. And just honored to be a part of this, and grateful for the inclusion.